Hello, this is the lecture associated with database schemas. This is a quick little video and lecture in that most of the time my students are simply like, what is a schema? So think of a schema as simply trying to break down a system, right? So when we talk about a database, we're talking about, usually a vast system. It's usually pretty big. So since it's pretty big, it's nice in some scenarios to break it down. So really that there's this what's known as the three-tiered schema of a database management system. So just again, all this is to make it easier to understand by breaking this down, right? So we've got external schemas. All right, so what is the external schema? The external schema are things that are external to the database management system itself. All right, so for instance, user views. So what do I mean by a user view? What is a user able to see? Right, so usually a user interacts or interfaces with a database through an interface. Right, so some kind of application that's been developed, whether it's a browser interface, whether it's Microsoft Access data entry forms, Oracle forms, forms designed in SQL Server, anything like that. So how do users access the database? So that kind of stuff is an external schema. The DBA himself is part of the external schema. So really the people, the business functions, the data entity matrices, all of those things are external to the database. Then there's a conceptual schema. We're going to talk about that in chapter 2 and chapter 3. That's our modeling, right? So what is this database? How was it modeled? How did we put it together? And those models are typically used by people to get a view of the database conceptually, the conceptual schema, right? And then after that, we get into chapter 4 and chapter 5 is the internal schema. Those are really logical structures. This is when we go, the conceptual schema is more of the, the enterprise view of the data. And then when you get into the internal schema, we talk about logical structures and physical structures, which we talk about in chapters 4 and 5. Just to show you what it might look like, the three schema architecture, right? We've got the external schema, and again, there's that enterprise data model, right? So we're external, it's a high level look at things. We've got, reports, screen displays, a data entry order form, things like that. So different people have different views of the database. That's the external schema. We talked about the conceptual schema, and then the internal schema are the logical and the physical. So we've got various databases, perhaps. We've got our order processing database. We've got a database that keeps track of supply chain. So this, again, it's size, and we're trying to make it simple by breaking it down into schemas. So all this is nothing crazy, and that's the end of that video.